Hello, this is the Irish Guy Extra, and okay then, let's talk about it. Let's talk about the Tyne-Wear derby, the first one in the Premier League for nearly 10 years, which seems absolutely mental, right? I mean, I think games like Sunderland versus Newcastle, these historic local derbies, which mean so much to the local fans especially, I think it's actually like a bit of a sin if they don't play each other for about a decade. Like, okay, there was that FA Cup match that Newcastle absolutely slaughtered the Maccabees in last year, but let's be real, it was a non-event. There's only one member of that Sunderland team who got killed that day that's still there now, and that's Dan Ballard. And to be fair, he's done well, but I mean, the way Sunderland are going, I don't think he's going to be starting in their team for much longer, especially when he looks like he would definitely devour 4 cheeseburgers in one go. And it's not just me saying it, by the way. Wilson Isidore, one of the Sunderland players, said so himself when... Yeah, I watched the video yesterday where they were doing a Sky challenge, and they got, for some reason, they invited Dougie Critchley of Football Daily on to try and eat a Big Mac meal in a world record time. Is that what we're doing for Sky Sports content now? We've got a bookworm Sunderland fan hogging down on a cheeseburger in 90 seconds, and honestly, shoveling the chips in his mouth and the Diet Coke. Oh, it was disgusting. It actually made me almost want to vomit over my screen. And for that alone, I feel like going on to Pingu's show now so I can beat his score. Why not? I'm coming for you, Dougie Critchley. I didn't even know there was a Sunderland fan on the Football Daily back in that rivalry era, but apparently there is. So I guess that means me and him are mortal enemies for life. But look, I'm scared of this derby, and I do think, yeah, like I said, the fact that there hasn't been a Premier League fixture between Newcastle and Sunderland since 2016 is crazy. It's been like how it's a shame we haven't seen Portsmouth versus Sunderland in the Premier League in 20 years. Yeah, because they kept avoiding each other. When one would get relegated, the other would get promoted. It was very annoying because that's a fierce derby too, but nobody would know it because they don't play each other ever. So, well, except this season actually. In the Championship, I think it was a 0-0, wasn't it? Yeah, but anyway, hopefully this Tyne-Wear derby is going to be a bit more eventful than that. And I'll be honest, I am scared, okay? I thought this would be a cake in the park. I think I said something like Newcastle versus... When Sunderland came up with a team for the babies, I thought Newcastle would smash them 10-0 in aggregate throughout the 2 games. I don't think that now. Look, on this channel, I'm going to do my Premier League predictions for tomorrow, yes. But I just want to come on here and just vent a bit more about this match because this could be the most embarrassing result that a Newcastle fan has had to endure for a long time. Because imagine... if we turn up to the stadium and get trounced 3-0, and this isn't outside the realms of possibility, by the way, because Newcastle, there's a reason this fixture stopped happening. And yeah, it's because, again, Newcastle dropped out of the league and then Sunderland dropped out of the league. But it's probably a good thing that the Tyne-Wear derby stopped happening, because if there's one thing Mike Ashley was not good at, it was being the chairman of a club who won Tyne-Wear derbies. I'd say that was the big... Forget about the 2 relegations on his watch. I think employing men who would systematically continue to lose the biggest game of the season twice a season, it was that was pretty disgusting. Literally, there were 2 3-0 Sunderland wins at St. James's Park in there, and not even with good managers. No, one was Di Canio, sliding down the touchline, an absolute pig oaf of a manager, and the other one, I'm pretty sure, was Gus Poyet. Just real dog food managers with nothing special Sunderland squads, and yet they absolutely tore the Magpies to shreds. It was embarrassing. 6 in a row, completely embarrassing. And I know, I'm not a Geordie, so I don't feel this as much as a local, somebody who grew up in Newcastle would. I mean, I saw one of the comments of my videos saying, something about my Irish accent being strong or not strong or whatever, and someone said, oh, well, he grew up in Newcastle. I was like, what? Do I sound like Cheryl Cole? Grew up in Newcastle. Have you heard me speak? No, I didn't grow up in Newcastle, no. So I didn't go to school full of, Sunderland fans, and I didn't have that growing up. No, for me, the biggest rivalry of my childhood was Man United. But I've always, of course, as a Newcastle fan, and I imagine fans of other teams, like Liverpool fans from other countries or whatever, I'm sure you have the, you really, really want to win the derby against everything too, because when you buy into a club, you buy into their rivalries as well. And yes, I am not from Newcastle, but I've lived here for a solid 10 years. And before that, well, close to 10 years, because before that I spent 18 months living in Sunderland. And yes, that's where my YouTube journey began, in an absolute little, it was like a little corner of hell where I was living. It was genuinely, like, where this whole YouTube thing started on the the football channel, which will not be named, like, literally, it was in an absolute It was hard. I think that place is now a takeaway. And you know what? Someone should probably burn out that takeaway, because any burgers being cooked in a room where I used to sleep, no, that food is clearly secretly poisoned. I mean, it must be haunted for life, because it was just, honestly, just imagine the biggest sick bucket of a bedroom you've ever seen. That was me. That was me living in a little house share back in Sunderland, and it was horrific. Literally, I mean, seriously, that place. I will never. I hope no one ever eats a burger from that place, because no. They're literally cooking food where I used to sleep. Oh, it's disgusting. Anyway, back to where I was. Yeah. So what I was saying is, I've spent enough time in this region to really taste the rivalry, especially because when I started this thing and I was interviewing Sunderland fans, I was the guy who interviewed those two old Sunderland women. Yeah, that's just it. They're not in the Premiership. We are. I didn't have Twitter at the time. I had no idea that blew up viral on Northeast Viral. Like True Geordie's Night Ranger video. I didn't know at the time, but it did. And I didn't know that for years after, until I started playing football with lads in Newcastle, and they would tell me. They would, so I kind of felt bad for those Sunderland women, because they absolutely torched on Twitter. It's funny. I mean, those videos did nothing on the YouTube, but apparently on Twitter they were going wild. But anyway, that kind of shows you how deep rooted this rivalry is. Sunderland versus Newcastle is it's territorial. It's an ugly derby. I've been to a derby before when I was a kid. I saw us beat Sunderland 2-0, Michael Owen scoring a double, and lads, the passion, the frenzied nature of it, it was, drinking it in. That's why I can't wait for Sunday. I know it's going to be just like that. But what if we lose? What if Newcastle lose? Oh, lads, I've seen enough times Sunderland beating Newcastle, beating very, very talented Newcastle teams, to be honest, where Newcastle were the overriding favourites. I mean, the last time Newcastle beat Sunderland at home was in Halloween 2010. 5-1, right? 5-1. How do you beat your local rival 5-1, and then for 5 years after that, you lose pretty much every single time? It was just, for a while there, the Magpies were cursed in Northeast derbies. For God's sake, Demba Ba. Demba Ba was on fire for the Magpies. So good that he was earning himself a move to Chelsea, but before he left, he was scoring a costly own goal against Sunderland to rob Newcastle of the win. An own goal, the only one of Demba Ba's whole life. It felt like there was a curse on this club. So for this derby is just going to be, Sunderland have been doing so well. Granit Xhaka in the middle of the park, and Newcastle, we've been sloppy, throwing points away here, left, right, and centre. Even against Bayer Leverkusen last night, just a 2-2 draw, snatched from the jaws of victory. Just like against Spurs the previous week. Almost like against Burnley. If Burnley had somebody who could actually head the ball in their team, they would have snuck a last-minute 2-2 at St. James's Park last Saturday too. So you can probably already tell where this is going to go. It's going to be 2-2, right? Sunderland are going to score right in the death, just like they did against Arsenal, right? Look, here's my spoiler for tomorrow in the Premier League predictions. I'm going to go with a Newcastle win. Johan Wiese off the bench, because can you imagine? He comes off the bench and writes himself into folklore. If you do that in a Tyne-Wear derby, you're a Geordie legend for life, and there's proof of that. Someone did that for Newcastle, scored within 60 seconds of coming off the bench at the Stadium of Light, and he's a legend for life, despite the fact he's since gone on to play for Sunderland and has scored more goals in the Premier League for Sunderland than he ever did for Newcastle. That is Michael Chopra. He was seen as so much of a legend for scoring that tap in a minute after he came on as a sub the year Sunderland got relegated with a record low points total, that even now, all these years later, despite the fact he's since pulled on the red and white shirt and has scored last-minute Premier League winners for Sunderland, he is still worshipped as a Geordie hero for that moment alone. So if Wiese does it, oh wow, he's a legendary figure for life. Number 9 shirt on his back, scoring the winning goal. Wow. So yeah, lads, I'm scared of this derby. I'm nervous. I'm excited. It feels like the cup final all over again. Sunderland away. Can you imagine if the Magpies get the win? And lads, I think last year, or one of the times where Man United beat Liverpool, I think Angry Ginge got a hold of Anfield Agenda's number and, rang him up and boasted down the phone. I'm not saying I want to do that necessarily to Dougie Critchley if Newcastle win, but isn't it just written in the stars? A football... I'm former member of Football Daily during the rivalry with the other channel, and now to find out he's a Sunderland fan, which is strange because he sounds posher than a prince, but hey, I guess he is. And yeah, I mean, after wolfing down the cheeseburger in double quick time, I think me and him, I think if Newcastle win, maybe I should get a hold of his number and ring him up on this chat. No, that'd be weird, right? It'd be very straight. Leave him alone. What am I doing? No, stop trying to invent some weird rivalry. Yeah, I don't even know the guy. I'm sure he's a lovely chap. But, oh, lads, I'm just excited for this derby. I am. But let me know in the comments section, what do you think is going to happen? Do you think Newcastle are going to win this? Are the Magpies going to pull it off? And again, lads, I mean, it's been so long. Sunderland have literally, it's been so long since this derby's taken place. Sunderland have literally had a Netflix show all about their misery sins. It's been long enough ago that the last person to score for Sunderland in a Tyne-Wear derby, I've since interviewed him. Weirdly, Jermaine Defoe. It was very... I think I was telling him that I remember when he was 38 on FIFA in FIFA 2005 when you got 17 seasons in because I had nothing else to do as a weird little boy. And to be fair, he was polite. He just stood there nodding along at this crazy person, just waffling random nonsense to him about his childhood and FIFA. Oh, very weird. But yeah, no, that was... What I'm saying is it's been a long time since that 1-1 draw in 2016 where Alexander Mitrovic scored a late equaliser. And even now, he did nothing in the Newcastle shirt, really, considering the hype that he had at Anderlecht. But he, purely for that goal alone, people still love him. Mitro on Tyneside, people absolutely love him for that one goal alone. But that's the only highlight Newcastle have had in a Tyne-Wear derby for years. And I'm not counting the FA Cup win last year because it was literally like beating up a baby. It was... easy peasy peasy. I mean, yeah, it was a fun afternoon, but you're not going to gloat about beating a team which were pretty much League One standard, where their only star player was Jude Bellingham's little bro, like the Deji of football. No. The last time there was a proper highlight was, Mitrovic in that derby. But before that, it's been nothing but disappointment ever since 2011 when Ryan Taylor put one over the wall in a 1-0 win. That is nearly 15 years ago. 15 years ago since a proper highlight for Newcastle in this derby, where they actually won a match against... It's too long. This has to be a Newcastle win. It just simply has to. Anyway, let me know what do you think? Let me know. This channel is all about waffle. There's no real structure to this. It's just me venting my football feelings. And yeah, hopefully soon I'll be able to do these live streams and then we can have a proper chat, right? Back and forth. Sort of. I still won't be able to hear much, but I can read, so yeah, we'll do that. Anyway, that is the end of the video. You don't forget to get extra ways. I'll waffle you in a while. Oh, no, yeah, it's the profile photo. I'm going to change it now. Let's change it. Let's find something else. Send me in something new. That sounds like an order. Who do I think I am? The king? Anyway, that is the end of the video. I'll waffle you in a while. I don't know why I did that.